Hey, I'm going to be frank with you to get this thing started. I am loaded for bear. What a bunch of happy horse shit being generated out of Bristol right now. And it's being taken seriously. So, in addition to all the subjects that we promised we would get to tonight, you ready? I see your questions. I see all your fantastic questions. You want to know what happened with Mims? I'll tell you. We broke the story of the Cowboys' conversation with the Jets. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I'm not going to tell you to like it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. The DIGGS contract negotiations. And I think DEZ Bryant just gave us a winky dig. That's how they do it in the cartoons. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, come on over here and give me medium-sized Mike 6'1", 206, and big Mike 6'3", not 206. Let's go have a big hug. Aaron Rodgers in week 2. Can't wait to see you, Stinky. Mr. Mike, in regard to Dan Snyder, the relationship between us girls you're asking me about, it ain't lovey-dovey. Remember? Jerry Jones one-on-one with this show a few weeks ago, and now it comes full circle. $6 billion, oh yeah, over here, but the 60 million too. And then ESPN has declared the Cowboys' 3-year future. Ooh, what a bunch of happy horse shit. And here we go, item by item. All right, so what happened with the Denzel Mims thing? This is the Baylor guy, 24 years old, 6'3", 207, runs like the wind, jumps out of the building, can't seem to get it right with the Jets. The Jets were going to cut him had they not gotten something for him. The Jets called, this is, by the way, this is straight dope, no bullshit. You will not get this anywhere else. And if I'm done with this show, and by the way, you might want to get a big, comfy Cowboys silver and blue chair like I have. Yeehaw. Because this might take us a while tonight. If at the end of any one of these stories you go, sons of bitches, this old man knows what he's talking about. This extremely handsome old man with a beautiful singing voice knows exactly what he's talking about. Would you not only hit the like button, and I will call for it tonight because it gives Cowboy Nation and fish heads the muscle, and YouTube gets out of our way. And then at the end of the program, not only would I request that you hit the like button, but would you please subscribe to what we do here? Here we go. The Jets called the Cowboys. There was no secrets here. The Cowboys knew that, and the Jets knew, if they didn't get a deal done, they were going to end up cutting him. Just didn't fit with the new coaching staff. Didn't much fit with the old coaching staff. Aaron Rodgers, had Aaron Rodgers said, I don't know, whoever that kid is, I'll keep him, then they would have kept him. Aaron Rodgers never said that. The Cowboys have flirted with this idea before. This was going to be 3rd and 4th round pick last year at the deadline. That was the argument. This time, the Jets called the Cowboys and said, listen, you dopes, you. We know you like him. The scouting department does. We'll take a conditional 7. And somebody on this end of the phone, right across the street, said, you mean a 7 that becomes a 6 if he accomplishes things? No. It becomes a 7 if he makes the team or plays right. It's a nothing if he doesn't. You take him, cut him, and you give us nothing. Take him, keep him, and whether he gets snaps or catches or just a roster spot, you sacrifice a 7th round pick if it works out that way. Thank you for being Uncle Fish Premium, so many of you. Ask the fellas how to get a circle in the star. Jeff Bledsoe knows. $10 pitch into the brief fund. That's a super chat that YouTube sets up for fish heads in Cowboy Nation. Fish, thanks for all the info every day. You are the absolute best. Every once in a while, I am the absolute best. And I plan on being so on this program tonight. 2 of the 3 power brokers in this building said yes. Kenny Simmons, hey, fish heads, quit swelling up Fisher's head any bigger than it already is. Can you see how I have a filing cabinet for a head? Of course, how else do I store all this information? This hat, it's one of these things. They can't make them any bigger. This is as big as they make them. I got it on the last dot. Stephen thought it was a good idea. Willie Vassar, anything new on Mims? I'm giving you information you cannot get anywhere else. Stephen said, I mean, fellas, I think it makes sense to me. Will said, makes sense to me. And then it went to Jerry. And Jerry said, why we want to get us I'm paraphrasing, but I'm paraphrasing pretty good in my terrible but yet brilliant Jerry Jones imitation. Mr. Will, Mr. Stephen, why do we want a progress stopper in front of them young kids that we got? Now, somebody in this threesome of brain trust could have said, now, Jerry, when we're talking about the young guys, he's 24. He is a young guy. Dak for president. Do we need a guy like Mims? Need? No. No need. He would have been competing for the 4th job. Frank, has Mims done anything in the NFL? Nope. No. Do the Cowboys need another 6 wide receiver? No. But let me ask you this. They got 12 of them. And 7 of them cost them nothing. Why not have 13 of them and have 8 of them cost you nothing? Aces. Mims could have been a nice depth piece or nothing at all. Jerry said no. Army mom, we don't need a 13th. Well, Army mom, I love you to death. You're one of my 65,000 best friends. Why do you need a 12th? And let me ask you this. You don't think Denzel Mims is more accomplished than one of these schlemiels? He is that. And let me ask you something else. You think there's going to be a 7th round receiver next year in the draft who's better than Denzel Mims? VJ, just put him on the practice squad. Not yet, though. First, you got to put him on the 90. And so you would have to say goodbye to somebody. And Jerry was saying to the other 2, don't we like these kids that we have? So in the end, and I was asked pretty specifically about this. So Will can't win an argument with Jerry? Stephen can't win it? Of course he can. And you pick your spots, just like we all do with our boss. Well, you got those of you who have a boss. Not going to go to war over Denzel Mims, who, if it works out, is the 5th receiver. So you're sitting here going, you know what? Best case scenario, isn't he another Simi Fehoko? Yeah, maybe. Okay, then we're not going to argue with Jerry. So Jerry gets his way on a tiny little thing. This is not the biggest thing in the world. I don't think Denzel Mims, who's now going to Detroit, I don't think Denzel Mims is going to go be a Pro Bowler in Detroit. Well, I'll watch, though, because the Cowboys personnel department likes Denzel Mims. Randy Hankins, $5 pitch in. Love Jerry, the owner. Not a fan of Jerry, the general manager. I think that's a valid argument. And of course, it's an argument that's been going on for a quarter of a century. I don't want to make Denzel Mims the centerpiece of it. Vinny, you guys that are telling me what happened with Denzel Mims, I don't think you understand how this show works. I just told you with more depth and more detail than you can get anywhere what happened with Denzel Mims. So you find yourself in the classroom, bar room, educated on that subject? I believe you do. Would you please hit the like button and become a free subscriber to this program? Thank you. Item. So Des Bryant, friend of the show, says he talks to Trayvon Diggs quite a bit, and I believe that is fine. Let me stop. Will should be the general manager, says Jose and many others. Why? What's the difference? What's the difference if they go over to Will McClay's door? He does the job he does now. They go over to Will McClay's door and they paint, and instead of painting director of Pearl, whatever his goofy title is, they paint GM on it. And they go over to Jerry's door and scratch off the GM and just paint on owner, president. What's the difference? The guy that doesn't have GM painted on his door is already doing that job. Roy Smith, how good an eye for talent is Jerry? Not as good as Will McClay, but so what? He's already sitting here. Jim Laws is a valuable member of this family. I'm the host of this show. What if we just said Jim Laws is the host of this show? What would that change? You think Jim Laws gets to sit in my chair? So don't quit worrying about the titles. Corey Babcock, Jesus, Corey, you're too smart for this. You think if Will McClay was the general manager, he wouldn't have to go to the owner for approval? What planet do you live on? Yes, he would. Of course he would. The only time Jimmy ever made a trade without Jerry, he got in trouble for it. So you're wrong. You think now again, there's Greg Popovich doesn't ask ownership in San Antonio. Okay, so there's that. Ron Rivera is in charge of Washington. We'll see if that changes. By the way, we'll get to Washington here in a little bit. The general manager, when the general manager makes a move that is of any impact at all, the owner absolutely has the right to say, no. Absolutely does. And it's happened in this city all the time with two of the franchises. It happens in the NFL all the time. The general manager is not the owner's boss. So Des says, I've talked to Diggs a lot. The Cowboys are being unfair. Jose V, it's the Texas Coast offense. That was my idea. Dak Prescott has essentially vetoed that, and we're going with this. Texas Coast offense, it is Dak approved, and you can find it in the Uncle Fish store, exclusive. By the way, there are already some people already trying to rip it off. Can't rip it off. Trademark. For real. And we're going to work out, I'm going to get with Dak and his guys, and we're going to work out some sort of charity related aspect to what we do in the Uncle Fish store. So hang on to your butt. Des says they're treating Diggs unfairly, and he must know, that means he must know some number. They are talking. Cowboys also talking with Zach Martin. Also talking with Terrence Steele. Not talking to Tony Pollard anymore. And certainly talking with Dak's guy. Little less urgency, of course, on Lamb, and then Micah's later. Des says, I don't think there's anything unfair about what Diggs is asking. I think he should get a fully guaranteed contract. Doodly. What? Des, did you just say? Daniel Crotty, I'm a professional speaker. When I say it, I mean it. I think Des just suggested to us that a DIGGS negotiation table concept would be, why don't we do the fully guaranteed? Keep in mind, he's under contract this year. Well, he's only getting paid $4 million. That's the system. If you don't like the system, call your union. You have a union, you know. Running backs are getting screwed. Call your union. Don't complain to the. Why should the owner care about your problem? You're in a union. DC4, welcome to the Uncle Fish Premium Club. Thank you. I've never been in a union. I'm a dumbass. Maybe you have. You tell me. When you're in a union and you don't like what the boss is doing, you go to the union. That's why you have a union. Running backs are going to Twitter. Come on, guys. This is an IQ test. Life is an IQ test. You're failing. Go to the union. Dean Graham, Uncle Fish Premium. Fish, thanks for your work and for hanging out with us and helping us to learn. And thank you guys for helping me to learn too. I've said this in front of Bree Amaranthus the other day without embarrassment. I've said it on national TV without embarrassment. I'll say it to any player, and I'll say it to the head of the NFLPA. I'd be a little scared to say it to the late Gene Upshaw, who was a friend of the show. The NFLPA has raisins for brains, raisins for biceps, and raisins for balls. That's why running backs don't get paid. That's why there's not guaranteed money for players, fully guaranteed. Of course there should be. There's fully guaranteed money in basketball. I think DEZ is giving us a hint here. Keep in mind why some are complaining. He's only making $4 million. The 5th-year option next year will pay him $17 million. That's in the contract. Jeff Bledsoe, Uncle Fish Premium. There's no fully guaranteed contract in football. That's not entirely true. There's now 2. And if the NFLPA would get its act together, they'd all be guaranteed contracts. The NBA is. Deshaun Watson has a fully guaranteed contract. And Kirk Cousins, God bless him on that Netflix quarterback, he's had that. Sugar Daddy. Fish, I just gifted a Mike Fisher membership. Thanks, Sugar Daddy. So, Trayvon Diggs, nobody's getting screwed. Nobody's being unfair. You're under contract for $4 million this year. You're under contract for $17 million next year. We're going to do our best. I think it's a foregone conclusion. We're going to get to 20. And I'm fascinated to see. And obviously, I'm going to talk to the principals here, especially when we get to Oxnard in a couple of days. Trayvon, are you talking to the Cowboys about trying to get a fully guaranteed contract? Because first of all, I'm going to write the hell out of it, but also good for you. Aaron Rodgers comes out this week, and he's talking about the things he's learned as he's going to try to transfer them, teach them to the Jets. And of course, the Jets haven't ever done anything in a long time. Jets have been bad for a long time. And Aaron says, an old coach once taught us that you run into an enemy when you run into success. Now, you have to be careful with success. You have to understand it. You have to nurture it. You have to respect. Well, the old coach is Big Mike. I can't. Week 2, I'm going to be at the Giants game, obviously, week 1 in New York. Even more, obviously, I'm going to be at the Jets game in week 2 because it's here. I can't wait for the football, but also for the drama. And I bet you're in the same boat as me. Mr. Mike, it's not lovey-dovey. That was Jerry's quote to me on camera at the NFL owners meetings in Phoenix. Well, now, as you probably know, Washington, ding dong, the witch is dead. They finally got Dan Snyder out of there. He sells the franchise to Josh Harris. Big shot. Magic Johnson's part of the ownership team. That's pretty smooth. Abel, what's the Zach Martin situation? CowboysSI.com. We've got it blanketed for you, including the very latest. And some people saying, well, it looks like optimism because they're talking. No, that's not exactly how I would portray it. CowboysSI.com. You'll get it like no other. David L., welcome to the Uncle Fish Premium Club. Hey, David L.'s got a circle and a star. How do I get the circle and the star? Ask the fellas. They'll show you how. Out he goes, Dan Snyder. Quarter of a century. 24 years. Listen, I know that you want the Cowboys to win another Super Bowl, and I get it. It's your birthright. You're a Cowboy fan. The Washington football whatevers, 24 years under Dan Snyder. In 6 of the 24 years, they made the playoffs. Twice they've won a playoff game. They've won 2 playoff games in 25 years. Gino, what happened to Mims? Covered. Item 1. More information when this show reels back. Somewhere between 13,000 and 63,000 people will watch it, and you'll be able to see our comments on Mims. You can also read about it at cowboyssi.com. Although I got into more detail here than I have in print. There you go. In addition to his exit and $6 billion, the league says, give us $60 million as punishment for your toxic workplace. And Roger Goodell did not hold back. He's pretty specific about the investigation results and just all kinds of stuff. Using his pelvis, allegedly, to push women into the back of his limousine. Employees. Cheerleaders, come on up to the office. Let's hang. Army, Mom, you are trying to be argumentative tonight. Man, are you missing the point? If you think the Cowboys, you know what? You're trolling me. You're trolling me. My mistake for falling for it. Toxic, lawsuits, accusation of stolen money. He found a way. This is actually pretty clever. He charged the team and then was able to deduct it. My understanding is they put the team logo on his personal plane. He charged the team advertising, $3.5 million, and put it in his pocket. You guys think the Cowboys' quarter of a century history is the same as Washington's quarter of a century history? You do not. You do not. You've been kicking their ass for 25 years. Their stadium, even their new stadium, is a dump. You are state of the art. What are you talking about? AMD, I don't know what hanky means. I'm here to discuss it with you. But so you listen, you tell me. Tell me how the Cowboys from top to bottom are the same as Washington. Ready, go. I'm just asking. I'm just telling. They haven't had a franchise quarterback in 50 years. Listen, you have at it with me in this debate. I will crush you, but have at it. They haven't had a long-term franchise quarterback in 50 years. When the Cowboys build a statue to somebody, it's made out of bronze. Tom Landry is made out of bronze. When the Commanders build a statue to Sean Taylor, it's made out of plastic. Joey Stewart, Joe Theismann was 50 years ago. 50! What the fuck's wrong with you guys? Have you been to their stadium? Have you been to yours? Have you been to their practice facility? Have you been to yours? If that team went 12-5 2 years in a row, they wouldn't elect Ron Rivera mayor. They'd elect him president. Speaking of me being all pissed off, ESPN does this futures thing. And it's hilarious. And if you're smart, it's behind a paywall. Somebody just sent it to me. I'm not paying for this shit. Are you kidding me? The Cowboys have a bad, dismal, bleak future. Are you aware of this? Here we go again. Let's first set the groundwork here for what you and I think of what future is. First of all, you have the 12-5, 12-5 foundation. If you're trying to build on the future, that's a great place to start. Joey, you got to be shitting me. God almighty. What did I say? 50 years? Joe Theismann was done in what, 1985? That's 15 plus 23. Boy, you got me, Joey. 38 years. Oh, Joey, you win again. Not 50 years, only 38. Quit wasting my time. You really don't get the point of Dallas versus Washington? Are you insane? 85. 38 years. By the way, that doesn't even count the last time he was good. I don't know when he was good. He was good in 83. Right? 40 years since he was good. 40 years since they've had a star, long-term franchise quarterback. 40 years. And 25 years since they had an owner who cared, which is also something you have. Yes, way to go, Joey. Not 50, 40. Way to go, Army Mom. Washington's just like Dallas. You got me. How could I be so foolish? One of the ways that I would measure a franchise's future is how many good young players do they have? Is that fair? I want to know what's in the cupboard draft pick wise. How many good young players do they have? I didn't look up everybody's ages here. Oh boy,
I can't wait to accidentally say CeeDee Lamb's 24 and then have one of you tell me, this you're wrong, he's 25. Wonk, wonk. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. Young. Mozzie, Tyler, young. Am I right so far? Am I still okay? The Cowboys foundation in terms of young future stars has got to be about as good as anybody's, with this exception. If somebody else has Joe Burrow, okay, that's different. That puts you on a different level. I'm not saying I would trade those 5 guys for Joe Burrow, but if you have a 24-year-old superstar quarterback, by the way, I'm not talking about a potential superstar. I'm talking about somebody in Joe Burrow who's there. I'm not talking about Justin Herbert. He hasn't done it yet. Hasn't done anything. So Joe Burrow is on a very short list, and I'll grant you him. Here comes ESPN and the future power rankings. And they've got concerns. They're defining the future as the next 3 seasons. So they go quarterback, they go rest of the roster, they go drafting ability. Wonder who's capable at ESPN of judging drafting ability. Draft capital and coaching. Huh? Oh, they judge coaching, do they, at ESPN? Oh, they judge the front office. How'd the Cowboys grade out? Okay, they earned a B, first of all. So, like, I'm going, and I'm sure you are too. Okay, fine, I'll take that. Wouldn't you? They gave him a grade of 83.2. Now, again, I'm not so into this that I have any idea what 83.2 means. Whatever. But they gave him a B. Gage, Cowboys had the youngest roster of the final 8 teams in the playoffs. I'll buy that. I have had more conversations on a subject that you guys are going sidebar on with Jerry Jones on the subject of winning versus business than any media person in the world. And I've talked about it a lot. He's said it. I've asked him. We had 10 different conversations about this. Paraphrasing his answer, Mr. Mack, I couldn't look myself in the mirror as a sportsman if I wasn't a businessman. I'm like, oh, okay, good. And I couldn't look myself in the mirror as a businessman if I wasn't a sportsman. That's the answer. And it's real and it's honest. This thing about I would pay anything for a Super Bowl, that's not real. Because that's easy to say because you can't pay anything for a Super Bowl. It's not how it works. But the quote that I just gave you is real. Show me where Dan Snyder can prove that he really ever thought that or acted like that. Show me. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. By the way, I'm not mad. I'm just twisted I'm just twisted because you're twisted. And there's a couple of you that desperately want attention, and I gave it to you. Congratulations. Good night. Okay, good night, I guess. Now you want attention for good night? Cowboys got a B. That puts them in the top 10. That's good. B's good. Top 10. I think top 10's okay, right? Not bad. Number 4 in the NFC. Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers. Again, that's not an argument, and there's nothing wrong with that. So what's the problem here? The article gives them a B, gives them a good grade, ranks them 4th, and then rips them to shreds. Philosophically, what this team wants to be offensively and what it's equipped to be are 2 different things. Tony Pollard returning from a fractured left fibula.
You know what? ESPN wrote that. I need to make sure that we have exactly what it was that was fractured. But anyway, he's not been signed to a long-term deal. And he won't be able to share the load with Zeke. And they talk about the interceptions. And they talk about McCarthy. And by the way, McCarthy, Bones, Quinn, Schottenheimer, having a philosophy of what they want to be that might not fit their equipment. And this is the bone I have to pick. And I'm not just ripping Bristol here, although, as always, would you rather get your Cowboy information from Frisco or Bristol? And this is proof of why. I'm telling you that I don't have the balls to write a story saying that I know more about how the Cowboys should match their philosophy with their players, that I know more than Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, Bones Fossil, Shoddy. I just can't do that to you. I know I'm a archaic dinosaur because I know that's what everybody does now. I can't do it. It's fake. Unless, and again, I'm not saying that if you coach in the NFL, you're a god and I'm some sort of a moron. I'm saying if you coach in the NFL, if you're a head coach in the NFL, you know more than I do about how to run a football team. That's not even close. And you know more than Paul Gale knows about running a football team. And Toxic and Mr. Fudan and Ramon and Gage and Q. Q Ball gets it. We watch film. Right. With LOL. That's my guy. The guy that recognizes, yeah, sure, we watch film, but we don't know what we're watching. Not compared to Dan Quinn. So I did take a moment, and this story is up on cowboyssi.com. You know what? I thought, now wait a minute, tap the brakes here. What if this is, I don't know, who works it? What if this is Mike Tannenbaum judging the front office? All right, at least he did it. Rex Ryan of ESPN judging the coaching. And I don't know, give me a guy, judging the players. No, not exactly. The guys who are smarter than McCarthy, Quinn, and Fossil about how to match system with talent are Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick has run a scouting department in the NFL. That counts. And two me's. Two sports writers. I'm just sorry. I know that I come across like I'm arrogant and cocky and abrasive. And I am. But I'm not that arrogant and cocky that I'm going to tell Dan Quinn what he should do with his team. Jimmy Sorrentino points out there's different levels of what they're doing here. There's the clown show thing. And that's what Joy Taylor did the other day. That was a clown show. Joy Taylor trying to use her expertise. Nobody took her seriously. Trying to use her expertise to analyze what Dak does wrong. This is different. This is serious journalism with a capital J. And it's ridiculous. And I don't know if they know it's ridiculous. I'll give you 3 on here. Item. To prove that ESPN is not in tune with what's going on in that building, which, by the way, is right there. I moved here for a reason. Me and Broadus used to have a saying, remember where I live. I live right there. Item 1 on this, the Tony Pollard. The Cowboys chose their Pollard path. They chose their Zeke path. It was not forced upon them. They could have used other ways to handle this. They could have kept Zeke. They could have done something different with Pollard. It should not be anticipated that their decision weakens them. Nor, and I've told you this countless times, I've been told there's just not a rehab concern for Pollard. I don't care if Dan Graziano thinks there is. Nobody's told him there is. Nobody in this building told him that. He's just making it up. I've sat there and watched him. There's only 15 of us allowed in there. I've watched him at OTAs. I've watched him at minicamp. He does not look like he has a broken leg. Item 2, I'm befuddled again. Louis Riddick, I'll give you. Dan Graziano and Seth Walder, I don't even know who Seth Walder is. But now he's telling me what's going on inside the Star? And 3, ESPN still questioning Prescott's ability to lower his career high interception total from last year. Guys, let's do this together. Let's have a peace pipe and do this together. We can all agree. And you could be a Dak lover, you could be a Dak non-believer. We all agree that the odds of him having 15 interceptions again are extremely low. Can we agree on that? There's the peace pipe. Can we agree on that? Is there anybody that we got thousands of us here? Is there anybody that disagrees with that? Tell me yes. Just tell me yes or no. Give me a minute. Yes or no. I agree. Yes or no. Dak Prescott is not going to have 15 interceptions again. I guess I forgot to tell you if you should put a yes or a no. Yes, I agree. Okay, good. Jimmy Sorrentino, he's not historically an interception guy. Then why are people writing these interceptions in his DNA? I don't know is not one of the choices. You have to make a prediction. Do you think Dak Prescott's going to throw 15 interceptions again this year? Michael Parker, who knows? History says I know. Because he throws an average of 8 going into last year. 8. Even after last year's interception disaster, throws an average of 9. So use your heads. If he averages 9 over 7 years, I'm not very good at math. That's a beard scratcher. If he averages 9, I wonder what a smart prediction would be for the number that he would throw this year. I don't know, Fish. 15? Come on, Waxahachie. Come on, Weatherford. Smarten up. Well, I don't know. You know, he threw 15. Could throw 30. Ultimately, the Cowboys' future may or may not be about the Texas Coast offense. That's right. Get your T-shirt. If things go wrong here, and listen, we can. This is just between us. We can speak frankly. This is an Emmy Award-winning show, just between us. Richard Leopold. Now I kind of hope Dak does throw 15 interceptions, so Fish can do more of his accents. I've really pulled him out tonight, haven't I? Richard Schomburg, Uncle Fish Premium. Didn't Matthew Stafford lead the NFL in interceptions, but then they went and won a Super Bowl and nobody cared? And nobody damn sure said it was in his DNA. Yeah. Stephen White, Uncle Fish Premium, recalls the single time I was wrong and I smashed an egg on my head. Egg on your face. Get it? I'll do it again. If Dak Prescott throws 15 interceptions, I will smash 15 eggs on my face. That's expensive. Have you seen the price of eggs lately? I'm willing to concede. I'm not being Cowboy Homer here. This could go wrong. Texas Coast offense could go wrong. And there'll be 65,000 people owning this T-shirt that are going, son of a bitch. If this team doesn't go right, the head coach doesn't stay here. If the head coach doesn't stay here,
Texas Coast offense might not stay here. Joel, Uncle Fish Premium. The beauty of being the third best team in the NFC is, yeah, things could go wrong. The beauty of being the third best team in the NFC, ESPN, is things could really, really go right if you're the third best team. If you're one of the three best teams. JP Cantrell, welcome to the Uncle Fish Premium. Do I sound like a homer? It's a horse race. There's 16 horses. I've got the third best horse. That's good, right? Maybe it's the second best horse. Maybe it's the best horse. But it's at least the third best horse. That's good, right? Garrett B, is our horse smoking the crippler? I said a peace pipe. Things could go wrong, and the coaching staff might not be here. None of them. Oh, they'll fire Big Mike and hire Dan. We'll see. But things could go right. And things, if you're the third best team, are more likely to go right. But the criticism of the franchise, with what ESPN itself says, the number 4 best future, with a host of stars under the age of 25 or so, which is what the future is really about. Tell you what, ESPN sure is a weird way of giving a compliment. I will close with this, because unlike them, I've done my research here. Danny Savage, Big Mike, said that draft weekend he has no stroke in the draft room. I don't recall him saying that, Danny, but that's completely false. 100% false. Show me a link where you got that. And if he said that, he was joking. Trust me. Completely false. He has tremendous authority in this building. Draft day and otherwise. Tremendous authority. Infinitely more than he ever had in Green Bay, and that's a fact. I want you to think about this, because I did my research on this, about ESPN's future list, and they've been doing this for years now. I only went back a couple of years. Going into the 2021 season, ESPN did its future rating, and it's behind a paywall, and it's very scientific, and it's test tubes and guinea pigs. ESPN that year, going into the 2021 season, ranked the Cowboys not 10th like they did this year, not 4th in the NFC, 16th. Ugh. That's the height of mediocrity. ESPN said the Cowboys' future as of 2021 was they're very mediocre. They're 16th. What did they do in 2021? How right was ESPN? Well, that year Dallas finished 12-5, won the NFC East, swept the division, led the NFL in takeaways, and led the NFL in scoring. Boy, they stink. How about ESPN's future rankings going into 2022? Surely they saw the light. Now, follow me here. By the way, you can hit the like button now. I think I've earned it. So ESPN said they were the 16th best team going into 2021. They were wrong. Man, I don't know about you, but when I'm that wrong, I put my tail between my legs. And I won't add any jokes. Did ESPN put its tail between its legs after being oh so wrong with its futures prediction in 2021? Nope, they went right back at it. Going into the 2022 season, ESPN's future rating had the Cowboys sitting in not 16th place, 20th place. After going 12-5, they moved them down. Well, were they right that year? Dallas in 2022 finished 12-5, made the playoffs for the second straight season, something that hadn't been done since 2007, I believe, and won a postseason game. Conclusion, based on ESPN's high-minded science, the guinea pigs
the test tubes, the lab coats. They predicted the Cowboys' future was bad in 2021. They predicted the Cowboys' future was bad in 2022. They were wrong. They were wrong. Now they're predicting the Cowboys' future is not much to speak about again. Conclusion, based on ESPN's Cowboys track record in the past, they don't know anything about the Cowboys track record of the future. Thank you, Cowboys Nation and fish heads, for putting up with my wild tantrums. I appreciate you very much. We've got breakfast at Fish and Eats tomorrow, 7:20. It's a positional group review. I told you tonight it'd be a longie. 52 minutes. What? Dean Graham with a $5 pitch, and these 1 hour shows are the greatest. Unless I yelled at you. Marsha apologizes for me yelling at you. I really do appreciate you letting me into your homes, your phones, and your dashboards. CowboysSI.com, by the way. When you're done with me here, you can go get more of me there. And again, I appreciate you being basically partners in this show and in this project. Thank you all. Fish out.